everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our runes class part 2. I am so happy to see you. I want to welcome you all. This is my first time seeing you since Christmas. And I hope you had a beautiful Christmas. I hope you had a really sweet one with your family and loved ones. I'm thrilled to see you. It's been a busy day here. I was live in North Los Angeles this morning with Maria Menounos at her studio. I don't know if you had a chance to listen into that. If not, you can always go back and listen to the recording. But it was a lot of fun spending my morning with her. And then I get to spend my evening with you. So I'm thrilled. So tonight's really special. Tonight's just a little bonus gift to you. I really like doing these bonus sessions. My part of my goal with Holistic Healer is for you to feel like, that you just get so much for your money and for your investment. And so I love this idea of just continuing the education and making sure that you have this as an added benefit. So I'm thrilled for you. So tonight we are going to finish our conversation of the Elder Futhark, which is the full 24 runes that Odin channeled during his time hanging for 9 days from Yggdrasil, which is the world tree of life. So tonight we're going to finish with the last 8, which is Tears 8. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about casting runes. And we're going to talk about how you might choose a rune of the year. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my philosophy on the word of the year concept. And so I want to talk to you about that as well, too. So good to see you guys, and so good to be with you tonight. And then I'm glad you like my shirt. These are in the shop. It's funny, I wear this one a lot outside of work, but I don't wear it a lot here. So you may not have seen me wearing this before, but this is one of my favorites. So if you like the shirt, it's you can use your 18% off code to get one. There's kind of like pajamas in a way, but it's cute because it's flattering. It's tighter around the waist, so it has a little bit of a shape to it, but then it's got a fun drape at the top too. So thank you for your kind compliments. I appreciate it. Okay, so we have a lot to do tonight. And then I want to pull runes for you. I'm going to use my deck of runes to pull runes for you. And then at the end of tonight, I have the giveaway to end all giveaways. I'm not going to choose the winner tonight because some people can't watch live right now. But it's a really good giveaway. And here's what's really cool about it. I would say the value of tonight's giveaway is about $125. And it's not available anywhere right now. So it's kind of something to look forward to. I know, right? So I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm glad you're looking forward to it as well. So we'll get as far as we can in the hour that we have, and then I get to see you for sabbatical on Friday, which I'm very excited about. Your new sabbatical tools are coming Friday morning, and I'm really excited for you to see that. That's a whole other ball of wax. Kettle of fish, however you like to say it. So grab some tea. We're going to be here together for the next hour with a lot of fun things going on. I know it's going to be so fun tonight. Oh, thanks, you guys. Well, I was really looking forward to this. I love the runes. I'm sort of obsessed with Norse culture. It's not my culture. I don't have Norse background at all, but I have always felt the pull and the call. And when that happens to people, usually what happens is that you have some soul lineage there. So when you feel something such a profound connection to a civilization that your family didn't come from, that technically isn't in your line, usually that means you had a past life there. So I would not be surprised if I had some sort of Norse or Viking connection in a past life, even though I don't have it in this lifetime. That's right, Colin. That's so exciting. Tammy's here for the first time for her first Holistic Healer event. Thrilled to have you. So I just want to welcome everybody. I've been thinking a lot of you in the feed. I've just been thinking about you and hoping everything is going well and that your holidays are beautiful. So, and yet you did see the rune rings today, right? In the shop. Do you know how hard it was to get you rune rings? So a couple things, and there's other rune products coming because I've been very inspired lately. But the idea is if you wear all the runes, which I do every day in a ring, just like the one you're about to receive, the one that we got for the shop is 925 sterling. It's actually nicer quality than the one I wear all the time, but I've just had this forever. The idea is if you wear all 24 of the Elder Futhark, that Odin protects your health. And so you will stay healthy and stay strong as long as you are wearing the Elder Futhark. And so your ring that's coming to you, if you got it today, has the Elder Futhark on them. It would make a really fun thumb ring, or you could wear it on any other finger. I just always wear mine on my middle finger. So, but that's mostly just because when I got this one, it was a gift and that's the only finger it fit on. So it was not necessarily an intentional choice. But yeah, and by the way, my team is caught up. So when you place an order, it's most likely going to ship within about 24 hours. So a lot of you have been complimenting us on that. We really have, especially in preparation for the affiliate program, we want people to get their orders quickly and on time. And so I appreciate your kind words about how quickly we're processing orders, because that's really been something that we have worked on. And not just the quickness of the shipping, but the accuracy too. My team has come so far. So thank you for noticing us. Yeah, no, we were ahead even at the holidays. I mean, it was our goal this year that everybody would get their packages quickly and accurately. And my team did such an amazing job. It's one of the things you should know is our customer service has nearly a 100% satisfaction rate in terms of their scores, which is unheard of. Like most people in customer service have a 60, 70% rating for customer service satisfaction. My team hovers around 98 to 100%. Everybody on this team really tries to help you. So thank you for noticing them and for loving them back. They really do appreciate you. And especially, Elisa and Sharon and the angels who are on the customer service side, they've been with us for a long time and they know you, so it's like you're someone who's recognized and appreciated. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so the rune kits are gonna finish now. We're on the final 2, right? And then all 24 will be available. And so we are taking that to the finish line. It's really important that we complete that work. It was so channeled, the rune kits this year. Very channeled creation process. When I was receiving the download about how to proceed with that, I could see the peacock feathers and I could see everything in my mind. Which is usually how ideation happens for me with our products. When I see something in my mind's eye, it's usually very clear. So I knew those had to be made, and I'm so glad that you have loved them this year the way I have too. So I'm smudging with a little bit of white sage, and then I have a vetiver bundle. Vetiver is grounding and protective. It's also an aphrodisiac. It's a very sexy, seductive smudge to use at night. Once you have cleared out all the negative energy, then you can smudge with vetiver to activate the lower chakras, to engage kundalini energy, and then to stabilize and ground you and nourish and center you. It's a beautiful additional smudge. Okay, so we are ready to rock and roll tonight. We have a lot to talk about. Okay. Now the vetiver, we're working on the vetiver. It's not in the shop. I grow vetiver at home. And so that is vetiver root. So you can dig up the roots if you grow vetiver and then just bundle them like you would bundle any other herb. I know. Okay. So I want to start by talking about word of the year. And because I want to set the stage when I start pulling runes for you later in tonight's session, which I will be doing tonight. I'm hoping to actually be able to pull for all of you tonight. We'll see how far I get. I want to say a couple of things about word of the year because I have feelings about word of the year. So this year I have chosen a word. And in fact, I have a perfume coming to the shop for you in a couple days in honor of my word of the year. And I'll tell you what my word is in just a minute. Yeah, and I do want to do that. I do want to say hi to all of you who are new. And a lot of you are here for the first time, so I just want to welcome you. Word of the year is a fun thing. For a couple of years, I always picked a word of the year. And I had a friend who would engrave it on a pendant for me. And it was just kind of a special thing. Until I noticed what the universe does with word of the year. Do you know about this? And this is why I always have a cautionary tale. When you tell the universe, I want this word to be my, word of the year. What the universe does is it teaches you everything about that word. And it sometimes does that by teaching you its opposite. Okay. So, for example, one year my word was believe. That's my mantra word, right? I always have it on my ring, but it was my actual word of the year from one word. it doesn't just teach you how to believe from an easy place. What it does when you decide on a word of the year, because the universe is tricky and complex, and after a while you realize this, but I'm just sharing it with you in case you're new to the process. It actually sets you up in these different learning situations with people who will challenge your belief, not just affirm it, but challenge it, so that you can actually stand more firmly in your belief in order to practice that word. Does that make sense? Or if you say, well, love is my word of the year, what the universe does is it teaches you love, but it also teaches you in a direct way, but it also teaches you love by showing you its opposite. And so people will say, well, you know, I chose this word of the year and now I'm having this really difficult time. And it's like, how do you think the universe teaches? It isn't a direct linear teacher. The universe teaches by taking you into these loops, doesn't it? Where it shows you one thing by teaching you its opposite. And so when you set out, you know, and I only say this just as again, as a cautionary tale. I think it's great to choose a word of the year, but just understand how the universe is going to teach you. It's not just going to teach you by, you know, teaching you all the beautiful things. It's going to teach you about all of the not so beautiful things so that you have a complete and comprehensive understanding of what your word of the year means. Okay. So my word for 2018 is illuminate. It's a word that has shown itself to me all year long in 2017. I mean, literally people have come to me and said the word or introduced me to programs using the word or talked about my soul path and purpose in different readings using the word. And I really do think part of my mission, and I know some of you are seeing that, part of my mission is I want to bring metaphysics to the masses, which is why I go on national syndicated, you know, radio talk shows like I did this morning. And we're working on a piece for a major press outlet right now, major mainstream press, because I want people to become aware. And I'm brave enough to go first and do it. And so that is my work in the world. That's my challenge, is to show the broader world, not just our community who already believes, but to show people who maybe don't believe that there's something of value here. That's my work in the world. And so illuminate is part of my process. Everywhere I go, I ask myself, how can I create a bigger light here? And how can I shine that light more brightly? That isn't everybody's work in the world. Like some people really just want to be very private and very small. That's not me, and that's not why I'm here. And so with that clarity, I move forward with that word, knowing full well, by the way, that as I choose to illuminate and make that my word of the year, that the universe might also teach me its opposite. But I walk into that word full knowing, you know, with full awareness that I may have to learn that word from all sides. Having said that, I have already learned that word from all sides in a lot of really challenging ways. And so I feel like I'm sort of up for whatever that might mean. Now, I want you to be able to make that same choice. And so as you think tonight about your word of the year, there's a lot of different ways to access a word of the year. One of the things that I do is I don't ask myself what my word is. I ask myself what I want to experience this year. And just close your eyes for a second. This is related to the runes because I'm gonna pull a rune for you tonight, and I want you to think about this. Ask yourself tonight, what is it you want to experience in 2018? And it could be freedom. It could be expansion. It could be that you want to experience more reflection and introspection. It could be that you want to experience more joy and more laughter. It could be that you want to experience greater ease, you know, and flow in your life. Whatever it is you want to experience, start there. Do you know what I mean? And then sort of back into your word, rather than saying, what's my word? And then just waiting for, you know, the heavens to open and for, you know, the angels to sing in the choir while your word arrives to you. Because people say, well, I don't know what my word is or how to choose it. What do you want to experience? So Marilyn, it's exactly right. So, you know, she's saying I took the word out of her head, but expansion would be her word. And so great, you know, if you can anchor a word tonight, and I set the intention before tonight's bonus session that I would actually trigger some thinking for you around this, so that some of you who are struggling and really want a word, I set the intention that maybe I would say something tonight that would inspire you to find your word. So it may be that just in listening to me tonight that you discover what your word should be. And so it shall be. But just think mindfully as you choose, recognizing that the universe teaches in very circumspect ways. It's not a linear teacher. It doesn't take you from A to B to C. It takes you from A to F to B to R, right? And so but the universe does eventually come back and pull it all together and make sense of it. But in the moment, you might look and say, I don't understand what's happening. Do you know what I mean? In hindsight, you could usually make greater sense out of things. Okay. So tonight we're talking about Tiers 8, which is the last 8, and then we're going to talk a little bit about casting, and we can talk about storage of runes. A couple of you had questions about that. One thing I want to tell you tonight is if you ask 20 people how to cast runes and how to store runes, you're going to get 20 different answers. So just keep in mind, everything I'm telling you tonight is sort of like what I know and do, having worked with runes for about 20 years now. And then I encourage you to sort of like feel into your own patterns and your own ways of doing things, because I love when you honor what feels right to you. You know, I mean, I'm only ever here just to model one example of how things could be done. But I really want you to find what works best for you. I love that. So you guys are coming around. I love that. Oh, it's awesome. Jenna's word is elevate. That's a beautiful word too. Again, just what do you want to experience this year? And setting your intention and your focus there, I think, is really important. Okay, so with Tiers 8. Now, Tyr is a sky god, as you know. Let me get my cards organized here for us. Tyr is a sky god, and his origin of his name is the same as Jupiter, which is very interesting. He has been worshipped for many years. He is one of the most powerful of the Norse gods, and he's aligned primarily with war, although he represents all aspects of the divine masculine, okay? And let's talk about what that means too. The divine masculine is linear, it's outcome focused, and it's process oriented in general. This is the masculine, okay? Linear, process oriented, and outcome oriented, outcome focused. And so the divine masculine has a goal, and its work is to achieve that goal in a linear, focused, narrow fashion. The divine feminine is everything else, right? The divine feminine is the container in which the goal is achieved. The divine feminine is the flow of wisdom and information that's necessary to manifest what one desires. But the masculine is about the path, right? And that's part of why we love the masculine. When I'm too much in the feminine, I feel like kind of a flowy, watery mess. And I crave that masculine, penetrating, direct, focused, linear, reliable, secure. I crave all of that when I'm too much in the feminine. And the same is true when I'm too much in the masculine, which I'll just tell you right now, I kind of am in my life right now. I've been very task oriented because I'm the one who puts on all the holiday meals for my family, and I'm the one who like makes it all happen at the holidays, right? And even in here at Sage Goddess, right? Like a lot is on my shoulders. And so I'm in that sort of like process focused masculine orientation, and I'm longing for the flow of the feminine. And so this is about this set of the 8, Tiers 8, which is the final 8 of the Elder Futhark. This set of the 8 is about that masculine, focused, direct energy, right? Outcome focused, process oriented, getting you from A to B, and thinking about what skills, what tasks need to be completed, all of that. And I think this is really interesting because, we're coming into a new year, and Tyr has this energy of going for your goals and achieving without fear. If there's one thing you have to think about in 2018, because it's a manifestation year, it's an 11 year, and you have all of this cosmic energy that can support you in your desire to achieve, the number one thing you want to avoid in 2018 with all that manifestation energy is fear. You don't want fear to make your decisions for you. You want to make your decisions based on confidence, based on information, based on insight. And so Tyr's energy, as this powerful Norse war god, right, who isn't taking no for an answer, is very direct and focused and linear, is outcome oriented in the approach. This might be a really welcome set of runes for you to be working with. And for sure, Christine said Capricorn, like for sure, right? There's definitely a masculine Capricorn, grounding, earth-based, achievement-oriented vibration to these final 8 runes in this set. Okay, so tonight what we're talking about with this third 8 is Tiwaz, which is right here, which is actually Tyr's rune. This is the sky god's own rune, which is about leadership and authority and analysis and information and data. All of that is governed by Tiwaz. And I'm just going through them quickly right now, and then I'll cycle back to go through them more fully in just a minute. The next one we're talking about is Berkana or Berkano. You will find both spellings in your travels. Berkana is actually the word for the birch tree, which is the first tree to bloom in the spring. Did you know? It's true. And so it's a sacred rune for us to work with because of the fact that it represents first life. And even though this is a very masculine set of runes that we're working with, in the Norse tradition, you will always have balance. And so even in Tyr's 8, which is the primary masculine 8 of the rune family, you're still going to have a feminine card. This is the one that balances the rest of them. Okay, the next one is Awaz, which I need to find. Bear with me while I go back to Awaz. I have Manos. Here's Awaz. Okay, Awaz means horse. And here's what's interesting about Awaz, okay? There's a mantra for this rune, which says, sometimes we ride and sometimes we are ridden. It's a very interesting concept with Awaz, with the horse. So let me go back. So Awaz is E-H-W-A-Z. E-H-W-A-Z. That's the one we're talking about right now. Berkana is B-E-R-K-A-N-A. That's the one we just talked about. And Tiwaz is T-I-W-A-Z. Okay. Lady Graves asking for a quick review of the other 2 8s. If we have time, if we don't, the recording is there. So you'll be able to go back and watch the other recording just because time is kind of limited. I'll do my best to go back and review the other ones, but the recording, actually someone kindly posted it in the group today and I posted it as well. So you will be able to go back and watch the first one. Okay, Awaz. So it means horse. And the concept is, in life, sometimes you are the rider and sometimes you are the horse. Does that make sense? Sometimes you are the one that is being pushed and sometimes you are the one that is pushing. And so this is a card of partnership, the yin and the yang, the give and the take. And recognizing that sometimes you're going to be on one end of things and other times you'll be on the other end of things, and to go with that flow. And I think that this is a really good lesson for people in life in general. When this card comes up, it reminds you, you don't always have to be in control. And in fact, sometimes in your life when control is taken from you, it's actually a gift because your responsibility is being lessened a little bit. And maybe that's so that you can learn or grow or reflect or become. And so I think this is a really powerful rune for us to be working with as well. The next one is Manos. And I'm going to try, what I try to do with my teaching is give you like the bare minimum concept, right? And then also give you my interpretation. Manos means man, and it represents humanity. It also represents structure and order and all of those things. But it also represents much more than that. And we're going to go into the depths of Manos tonight. This is one of my favorite runes. It's very interesting because when I was a little girl, I used to draw this. And I didn't know what I was drawing until I was about 15 or 16, which is really when my huge metaphysical quest began. And that's a long story for another time. But I was not your typical teenager. Okay. At 15, when I was old enough to get a job, I ran and got a job. Just so that I could buy metaphysical books. And I devoured them because we didn't have a lot of money. And my parents were like, if you want to go buy books, you're going to have to either go to the library or go get a job. And so I got a job just to buy books, and I would just highlight and underline, and I just read them like encyclopedias of gemstones and crystals and anything I could get my hands on. And I remember drawing this shape over and over again. And I went into my little favorite metaphysical shop for my monthly, like, go get my new book trip. And I showed the shape to the person who was working there and said, do you know what this is? And I said, no, I brought it in because I've been drawing it and I don't know what it is, but I know it's important to me. And I remember he took me and took me to a book of runes and just said, this is This is a powerful symbol. And I don't know if you know how powerful it is, but I want you to start researching it. And I was like down that rabbit hole I went. It was like a whole world. I had no idea. And I remember I couldn't, I couldn't stop, right? And so even today, every time I see this symbol, I remember myself as a young child drawing this and thinking like, what is this and why am I so drawn to it? When I tell you more about Manas tonight, my interpretation, I think I hopefully will be able to inspire you to fall in love with it the way I have. Okay, Lagos, where are you, Lagos? Here's Lagos, the lake. Lagos literally means lake or water, and this is about the deep subconscious, including the unconscious, all of your subconscious motivations. This is the rune of the shadow. This is about going down into the depths of those waters to try and find all the hidden bones and shadows and carcasses of your soul, to excavate them for the purpose of integrating them and becoming a fuller version of yourself. This is a really important rune. Let me just tell you, with every one of the runes we're talking about tonight, I have straight goosebumps like up and down my arms. These are the biggest of the mystery runes. These are the biggest, I mean, in my opinion, these are the power runes tonight, because they mean so much more than meets the eye. Not that all runes don't, but these ones tonight in particular. And like I said, hopefully I'll be able to show you that in the time that we have together. Okay, I'm looking for Ingwas now. Another powerhouse. I mean, each one of these tonight has its own tale to tell. Some of them are hiding from me. Here we go. It's two different ways you'll see Ingwas. Sometimes you'll see it like this, just the diamond shape, and that's not wrong. That's just one way of representing Ingwas. Or you'll see it with the double V's. And so both are correct. You'll see it with an S on the end, Ingwas, I-N-G-W-A-S. Or you'll see it as I-N-G-W-A-Z. And so you'll see it either one of two ways. Very cool. And so this is just as we had female fertility, right, represented in Burkana with the birch tree symbol. So we have male fertility represented in Ingwas. And so there's a duality of the union between those two cards. Now, some people will tell you, you always have to read your runes in pairs, okay? Because unlike other forms of divination, the runes actually talk to each other. And this is the other thing I want to say too, in case you didn't see the first session, just so that you really have an understanding of how powerful runes are. They're not your mother's divination tool. To me, they're more powerful than tarot, because they actually have the power not just to teach you and not just to preview events for you or to recap events for you, as all forms of divination do, but the runes can actually shape events and outcomes. You can actually use them and start to engrave them to invoke the energies to create events and to help events unfold. And so to me, that's the line. That's what makes it so unique. This is, I will tell you, like, there's a spectrum of divination tools for me, tools that I will use and won't use. This is as far as I go. After this, in terms of like tools that I think have the potential to shape reality, you have things like the Ouija board, which I personally don't use. I always tell people, if you want to use it, I think that's great. It's not a tool that I will use because it's too powerful of a portal, and it's too difficult to control what comes through. The runes border on that for me. I feel safe working with them, but I absolutely do believe that they can shape events and outcomes. And so I want to encourage you just to be cautious. When you write a symbol of a rune, you are invoking a very powerful energy stream, is what I'm telling you. And it's more powerful to me anyway than even the major arcana of the tarot. That's my little like cautionary tale for tonight. Okay, the next one is Dagaz, or Dagaz, depending on how you pronounce it. This is Dagaz, or Dagaz. And that means day in the Norse language. And so this is dawn. And I always think about it as like the two facing Ds, right? And it's almost like the duality of you, right? It's your own personal dawn meeting the dawn of humanity, and how do you combine or integrate, you know, the wisdom of those two things. This is about clarity, direction, power. Again, think about it from a linear male perspective. It's about answers to problems, answers to challenges or solutions, and big time clarity with Dagoz. And then Othala is the last rune we're going to review tonight together. This is ancestral wisdom, property, and inheritance. This can be a very powerful rune for prosperity. But what I'm going to teach you tonight is every rune, you know, has light and shadow. So the light of this card is prosperity. The shadow of this card can be greed. And so all of the cards have both sides. Okay, so I want to dig in because we don't have as much time as I would like. It's already 5:30. So just hold your questions for me until the end, and I will do my best to answer them. I want to get through the 8 cards and be able to still have time to pull runes for you. So are you ready to go? Okay, and I'll spell them for you as I go. I just want to do a quick recap, but do not scramble to try and look things up. If you have any questions, I will answer them for you. And so you do not have to scramble. I will take care of you here. Okay. I'm also going to talk to you tonight about the essential oil notes for each one of these. And then any other questions you have, we can talk about them at the time. Woo. And so it would be nice to say, I thought about this last time, it would be nice to say a quick prayer, an invocation to the All-Father, to Odin, whose domain we enter when we work with the runes. And so All-Father, we seek your wisdom tonight and the blessing as we work with these sacred tools. We engage these tools with reverence. We understand the power that they hold, and they have held that power for many thousands of years for a reason. We give thanks for your ability to translate these symbols for us. We give thanks for your discernment of these symbols as you hung from the sacred tree of wisdom. And we give thanks for the many ways that we can work with these symbols to improve our lives and to bring your gifts forward into our lives. And so we ask for your blessings, and we do this work with reverence for you and for all that your tradition carries with it. Together we say Amen Aho, and so it is. So it is. You enter the great hall of Odin when you work with the runes. So true. That's right. Okay, so here we go. So this is Tiwaz. Back to the beginning of the final 8. Remembering that when I say 8, it is 8, but it also is 8, meaning family, A-E-T-T, and that's how the runes, the Elder Futhark, are divided into 3 8s, 3 sets of 8, and each one of them is governed by a deity. Tonight's 8 is Tyr's 8, and he is the Norse god of the sky and the wind. Okay, so this is Tiwaz. Now this is, there's so many different things to tell you about these cards, so bear with me. Tiwaz is self-sacrifice, persistence, and victory. It is also the card of control, okay? And it recognizes Tiwaz, and I always think of it as being sort of like, because it's this upward arrow, it's pointing the direct path. That's what Tiwaz does. And this is very much the card of Tyr, the Norse god, and it's also what they call the card of the North Star. And again, think of the arrow pointing up, right? And so this is true north. When you pull this rune, what it's telling you is you're right where you need to be, and just stay right here. Stay focused. Allow the direct wisdom of the universe to unfold, and trust in the intelligent order and design of the universe. There is a symmetry. There is a balance in the universe. It's beautiful. It is breathtakingly beautiful. In fact, the incredible, the way our universe is organized and created. And even down to the tiniest, cells, the tiniest atoms. I grow vegetables in my garden. I'm growing cauliflower right now. And I was out there with my daughter this morning looking at what is really sacred geometry in cauliflower as we watch the entire life cycle of this plant, because we grew it from seed. And it's just sort of like when you see how nature unfolds effortlessly, does not need your interruption or your intervention. In fact, what you do half the time when you get involved with nature is you screw it up, right? And so that's what this card represents. Nature is unfolding in perfect order. It does not need your influence or permission. And in fact, all you need to do is trust in that order, and everything in your life will unfold according to divine plan. Does that make sense? Yeah. So Tracy, I remember, and this is a powerful one, right? It's just sort of like bam, when this rune comes up, I'm always excited. I get this whole like chill up my spine because it's like I'm ready for this. You know, I'm ready to just lay back and float, as I said during the Yule meditation, if you saw that. You know, it's just sort of like letting go and letting God, just trusting that there's a divine order and you don't have to make it happen. And in fact, that when you try to get involved to make it happen, you screw it up. And this is a really good one for control freaks. Do you know what I mean? Like people in life who constantly like feel like they have to, you know, figure it out or get the answer, or, you know, it's like, let go a little bit. Trust that you'll know exactly what you need to know in perfect time, and that the universe wants to provide you with accurate information if you can just surrender to it. So that's right. So it's resonating with you guys because I'm preaching to the choir, right? I mean, I'm seeing, you know, Lauren and Cynthia and Catherine, and I'm preaching to the choir. But for a lot of people, this is not automatic knowledge. Like they can't find a way to trust in the divine order and nature of the universe. And so they need a reminder, and here it is. That's right. And it's also, by the way, it's also the rune of right outcomes. And so if you're going through any kind of disputes or mediation, this is a good one to work with to set an intention for a right outcome to your to conflict. And so some people, if they're going through difficult things like that, will just, you know, you can carve your rune into a candle. You can write it on your skin. You can tattoo it on your skin, which is what our Norse ancestors did. When they were working with a rune, they tattooed it until they had the whole circle of runes, right? And so there's so many different ways to work with these beautiful, beautiful symbols. The light of Tiwaz is strength. When you're working with the light aspect of this rune, you're strong, you're focused. When you're working with the shadow side, you become a zealot. You become a dictator. Your need for information and wisdom and control can actually make you into someone that you'd rather not be. And that's the warning of Tiwaz. Don't let your desire for information and control ruin your ability to enjoy the subtleties of the universe. Interesting, right? Yeah, well, Celine needs this one. You got to let go and let God. This truly is the rune of let go, let God. And so that's a good one for a lot of us. Berkana. By the way, the essential oils for Tiwaz, amber, patchouli, and musk, if you'd like to know. And that's based on the metaphysical properties associated with the rune, if you want to know how we determine what the essential oil correspondences are. Okay, Berkana. Berkana means birch in Norse. And so this is the rune of the feminine. And that's because birch is the first tree to bloom in the spring. And so it is thought to be the most fertile, representing the absolute divine feminine power of fertility and creation of life. Okay. And so this is birth, fertility, growth. The light aspects of Berkana are birth and rebirth. If you're working with this card in its light aspects, you are transforming from within. And you are shining your light beautifully in the world. I love this one. Whenever I feel like I need strength and support to shine my light more brightly, I work with Berkana. The shadow side of Berkana, though, can be, and this is an interesting one, and I don't have the gemstone correspondences for you guys tonight. I apologize. You're asking for those, and I did not write those down in my notes. And so what I will do is get them for you and post in the Holistic Healer group. Okay. The kits, of course, have all the stones. And so if you want to know those, but I'm talking about the ones where the kits are not available yet, because for the ones that we have kits, you can go on sagegoddess.com and read all about the stones and the correspondences. But for the ones that we don't have ready for you yet, I will gather the stone correspondences and put them in the group for you. Okay. You ready for the shadow side? It's an interesting shadow side. This is the rune of the womb. Okay. This is the rune of the womb. And when you are working in the shadow aspects of this particular card, there's a desire to retreat back into the womb. It's very, very interesting. You're so welcome. And so what that can look like is secrecy, starting to keep secrets from other people, wanting to retreat. In the most extreme shadow cases of this card, there is almost agoraphobia, not wanting to interact with people, not wanting to be in the world, not wanting to bring your creative or procreative gifts forward. And so there's like a far spectrum, right, of what it looks like to work with the light aspects of this and what it looks like to work with more of the shadow aspects. So the light is actually being the womb, and the shadow is wanting to crawl back up in it and hide from what can be perceived to be a very cruel world, if that makes sense. And so the essential oils for Berkana are birch, which is for inner strength. Obviously, it means birch, and so you'd have to use birch in the perfume, which we do. Cedar, which is about safety, grounding, and protection, because that's another one of the gifts of this card, and the medicine of this card, I should say. And then pine, which is one of the most divine feminine trees, actually, for cleansing, purification, and loving kindness. There's a sense of compassion and altruism with pine that's really powerful. And so those are the three essential oils that you would work with to honor Berkana. Okay, Ahwaz. What you got, Ahwaz? E-H-W-A-Z. Doesn't look like Ahwaz. People often confuse this for manaz, but look at the difference. And it's funny, when I was young, this is the one I was drawing with the X in the center. Sometimes I would draw the two lines and then I would just draw an X. You can make your, Ahwaz into manaz by just continuing the lines down. You see that? So it's a very simple difference, and yet the cards are so different in their meaning that it's really important to distinguish between them, because you don't want to confuse them. That's important. Okay, so Ahwaz, like I said, is horse, means horse, and that's because of the fact that there is an intimate sort of sympathetic relationship between a horse and a rider, isn't there? It's one of the most intuitive human-animal connections that there is. And that's because horse is intuitive, horse is powerful, and horse is strong. And so the rider of the horse has to be in this intimate dance with the horse in order not to be thrown off or to scare the horse or to end up in a difficult arrangement. And so that's what this card represents. Marriage and partnerships are also represented by this card, this rune. And so when you pull this, it could indicate, you know, an engagement or an impending wedding or marriage or partnership of some kind. If it's reversed, some people read that as a divorce. I will tell you, I don't read reversed runes, and that's actually rooted in a lot of the ancient traditions. Most of the time, if the ancestors would cast runes and they flipped, they just wouldn't read them. They would pull them out and they would read the direct runes. And there's different ways to read runes. We can talk about that too. Right? So you can read them forward to backward in terms of like linearity of what, like the timing, what's going to happen first, second, third. But anyway, just to give you that perspective too. Now, if you're working in the light aspects of this rune, okay, then you are in deep trust and your partnerships are strong. If you are in the shadow aspects of this rune, and this is where it's really interesting, the shadow aspect of this rune is betrayal. And isn't that true? Like, what is the shadow of trust? It's that you will not be able to trust, right? And I think this is a really powerful card for a lot of people, because one of the hardest lessons to learn in life, but one of the truest expressions of humanity is the inability to trust fully, or for people to be worthy of trust in all situations, in all scenarios. And we talk about this all the time in our community, right? Like, at the end of the day, you can't trust everyone. You have to be discerning, especially in an era of social media where everybody thinks they know people, but the reality is what you know is what people have chosen to show you. I mean, not as much us in our groups, because we kind of bear all with each other, but a lot of people curate their lives in social media. So how do you really know what's going on with people? And so I think this is a rune that can sort of show you that's the duality, right? The trust and betrayal duality that makes human partnerships so delicate and fragile. And it's really sad, because on a spirit level, like in the fifth dimension, betrayal doesn't exist. You can't betray someone who fully recognizes that they are you. It would be impossible for me to betray you if I really believe and live as though you are me. Because I wouldn't betray myself. That's 5D though. We live in a 3D, 4D world where it's like, oh, you didn't do this right, so I'm gonna, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. That's all very 3D, 4D. 5D is the realm where we finally encounter universal love. And so I think this is almost like a 5D card or 5D rune, where it's like, can we get there? Can we get to a place where there's nothing but trust in our partnerships and we don't have to face the very human reality of betrayal? I don't have the answer for that, so I leave that in your very capable hands. Okay, but more balance, harmony, inspiration. The essential oils for AWAS: amber, cedarwood, and geranium. The cedarwood is for the balance, regeneration. Geranium is for tranquility and peace and love. And because the partnership aspect of that particular rune is so pronounced, you have to have something there for love. You could actually substitute rose for geranium there, or you could do a beautiful rose geranium, which is a natural essential oil, not even a blend. Rose geranium is a pure EO, and that would be probably one of the best ones that you can incorporate into that particular blend. Okay, the one I've been drawing since I was a kid. This is Manaz, which means man. This is a very fascinating rune for me in so many ways. This is the highest possible evolution of man without becoming God. It's really hard to describe this one. When people try to make this easy, they talk about humanity and, you know, the unbreakable spirit, and that's what we talk about too. Like even on the back of this card, it talks about this. But because I'm with you guys and you guys are very seasoned practitioners, I can tell you there's much more to this rune than just humanity and spiritual evolution. This is about, and this is Manaz, M-A-N-N-A-Z. This is about the freedom to evolve spiritually in this lifetime and become a true echo of the divine. So a manifestation of the divine in human form. And so this is the highest card. And Lauren, it's interesting because it suits you, right? And I think for a lot of people, this is a heavy rune because it comes with a certain amount of responsibility to attend to the development of your spirit in this lifetime. I would say this is an evolutionary rune, one that would come to someone with an older soul who's ready finally to integrate a higher level of awareness and wisdom in order to become more, I hesitate to say godlike because that's such a weird word, and I'm not suggesting that people are God, but there is a sense in which in the higher orders of your personal spiritual evolution that you will let go of some of the cares of the material world and become more an embodiment of pure divine compassion. That's what this card represents. Can you get there? Do you know what I mean? In the light, if you're working in the light of this card, this is a card of liberation because it represents the possibility that you can let go of mortal human concerns and involve yourself. That's right, to be more awoke. Kenneth, I love that. To evolve yourself to a level where you are more in the 5D, where you are more aligned with a pure spiritual experience. The shadow side of this card is tricky. Okay, again, not to use loaded words, but the shadow side of this card can take you to the edge of insanity. Do you know, people ask me all the time, why don't my guides just let me see everything? Why don't they show me all the answers? Why don't they reveal all the mysteries? And what I tell people is, without being judgy, it would be very hard for you to keep living if you knew, right? If you knew, because what's here is such a facade. We are not separated. There is only one consciousness. We have created separations for ourselves, and then we built a civilization based on those separations. And so it really would be almost impossible. Like our civilization in some ways would crumble if we really had to integrate the reality of what we are as spirit beings. Does that make sense? And so this is your guide's attempt to show you as much as you can take and still agree to be here on the rat wheel doing the human thing. Because if you knew how much is beyond you, and if you knew what your life is like outside of a human experience, it'd be very hard to continue to sign up for the pain that we have to endure. Does that make sense? It's really complicated to even broach the subject. I've seen little bits and pieces, and sometimes it's hard for me, to be honest, because I've seen more than most people have. And when I said, yes, I'll come back after my near-death experience, there was really part of me that questioned my decision. If I didn't have kids, I probably wouldn't have questioned it, but you know. Anyway, so this is a powerhouse card, not one to mess around with. And you can use it to invoke experiences. Just be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for. A lot of us don't want to come back again after this go round, but I'll tell you, I would agree to it if there was something specific that my guides thought I could do that nobody else could do. I would agree to come back, but it would have to be under very specific circumstances. I love you guys. Okay, Laguz means lake. The depths of the subconscious as well as the unconscious. What you don't know that you need to know is all sitting right here. Yeah, Teresa, that's exactly right. He was just like, you've been drawing this? And he's like, and you're 15? I was like, yeah, now you understand what's going on over here. This is the rune of psychic development, the rune of deeper emotional awareness, exploration, excavation of the subconscious, meaning there's a lot of shadow stuff that comes up around this. This is also the rune of family secrets. Oh, I'm sorry, essential oils for Manas. Thank you. Black pepper for strength, endurance, and fearlessness. Bergamot, which is for power, joy, strength, prosperity. Ginger for liberation and freedom from constraints. All right, this one, Laguz, is a beautiful one. I always think of Lady of the Lake. And it's funny, like when I see this, even though it's supposed to be an L for Laguz, kind of, when I see this, I always imagine like Lady of the Lake rising from the waters, like just her beautiful, like, you know, spirit form just emerging from the lake. This is accessing the deep subconscious and accepting that all of your emotions are safe to feel. I'm going to say that again. All of your emotions are safe to feel. I see you, Blue Bella. I pulled this for Melody too. I know. I haven't pulled cards yet. I'm gonna pull them. I'm gonna stay over just a few more minutes when I'm done, because I'm almost done with Tiers 8, and then I'm gonna pull runes for you. So if you didn't get a rune before, I'll pull one for you tonight. Okay. If you're working in the shadow or the light side of this card, the lighter aspects of this card, this is psychic ability and unity, recognizing that there is a large psychic web of information that connects all of us, and that I can read for you and you can read for me, that we can be divine channels for each other of wisdom and information. The shadow side of this can be manipulation, you know, using that information to manipulate people to do things, you know, toward ends that they don't agree to, or depression. Going too much into those deep, murky waters can be very sad for a lot of people, especially if you haven't explored the bottom of your own lake, which a lot of people have not. I refuse to be in relationship with people who don't show me their lake. You know what I mean? Because what I always tell people is, if we're going to be in a relationship, I want to know it all. I want to see it all. I don't want you to hide anything. And I'd rather see it now with your permission than see it later without. You know what I mean? Because shadow stuff always comes up, whether you acknowledge it or not. And all those subconscious feelings here, this card is an invitation to work with them and to explore them and to feel them and to integrate them, which is really, really healthy stuff. So this is an important one. Okay. And the essential oils for Laguz, sandalwood, which is about, you know, containing the subconscious, lemongrass, which is about acceptance and forgiveness, and then peppermint, which is about trust, understanding, and clarity that comes from all of those things. Okay, that's right, the murky depths. Now, Ingwas. Like I said, this is a really interesting card. It's a male card, the male fertility card. This is about protection, safety. It's also about death and transformation. And it's about process, allowing yourself to go through the stages of development that are needed in order for you to manifest what you seek to create in the world. If you're working in the light of this card, that is about process and security, trusting that you're in the right place at the right time, that you have the resources you need to be successful, and that you are supported in every step. That's the light side of Ingwas. The shadow side of Ingwas is confusion. Because if you can't trust the process, right? And isn't this what we talk about all the time? If you can't trust the process, how are you going to make it through? Like if you don't believe that you're supported, that you have the resources that you need, that the process is unfolding in perfect time, and that you're exactly where you need to be, you're going to start going into a state of confusion. That process of acceptance is actually the path to peace, but people don't realize that. And so this is, when I look at this card, and again, this is just like Athena's Guide to Runes. I didn't learn this anywhere, but I'm just telling you how I remember them. I think of this as the pathway to peace, like almost like steps, like a ladder of like the steps I have to go through in the process to go from where I am today to where my soul is trying to evolve to be. Does that make sense? So this is a card of many, many things: protection, safety, fertility, peace, security, but in the shadow aspects, confusion. Okay, now let me put it one more way. In the light aspects of this rune is power with. That you and I, when we work together, have power with each other. I have power with you, you have power with me. In the shadow side of this card, it's power over, power to dominate. And so again, that's the masculine taken to an extreme level, right? The masculine and its light aspects is about support, security, process, understanding, the outcome, understanding the steps involved. The masculine taken to a shadow place is about domination and control, and ultimately subversion too. And so that's everything that's happening right here. Love this one so much. Okay, and for Ingwas, cedarwood for protection, frankincense for peace, spiritual ascension and evolution and relaxation, and then neroli, which is for manifestation and also for peace. Love this one so much. It's the path. It's the path to peace, if you can trust it. It's the path, it's the process by which you will attain peace if you can trust and surrender into it. This is Dagaz, or Dagaz, which means day. And it is the duality of day, the double D's, as I like to call it. That's how I remember this one. D-A-G-A-Z. And this is the card of revelation, enlightenment, and hope. Love all of that. The essential oil notes that would align to this card are bergamot, right? Like super, super easy, obvious one with bergamot. If you have a rune that represents daybreak, bergamot's got to be in the mix somewhere. Lemon balm, which is uplifting. It brings joy and optimism. So that's another essential oil that's aligned. And then opoponax, of course, which is the essential oil of spiritual revelation and truth. And so the combination of those is this uplifting spiritual expansion that happens with Dagaz, which aligns also to the eastern direction in the Lakota medicine wheel for new beginnings. Welcome, Joni. Okay, and then, so if you're working in the light aspect of Dagaz or Dagaz, if you're working in the light of it, it brings clarity, hope, and optimism. New beginning, new day, new possibilities, all of that is right here. If you're working in the shadow side of this card or this rune, there is indecision, fear, and the desire to escape. And so sometimes what you see is what can be a beautiful new beginning for one person can be a terrifying step for another person. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some people look at a new adventure and get all excited because there's possibility and there's excitement. Other people look at a new adventure and go, oh, I don't want any part of that, right? And so Dagaz is this invitation, like, how are you going to experience change in your life? Are you going to run at it with open arms and say, I'm ready to go, this is a new day, a new dawn, a new experience? Or are you going to look and say, I didn't want things to change. I didn't want to go down a new path. I didn't want to find a new process. And so ultimately, this is about your decision about how you experience your reality, which is really powerful, and especially how you experience new beginnings, which for most people are considered to be a gift. But for people who are threatened by change, that rune can be kind of upsetting. Okay, and then the last rune in Tiers 8, and can you believe we've gone through the entire Elder Truth arc with this card? I hope you enjoyed this. It has been such a joy to teach you runes. I can't even tell you. Because like I said, even though it's not my own divination tool by virtue of my physical lineage, there's something in my soul that just knows this language and feels so intimately connected to it. So I'm hoping I'm awakening something for you tonight too. This is Othala. And Othala is the card of inheritance. It's the card of ancient ancestral wisdom. And it's the card of harvesting from your ancestors. Now, I'm going to show you how I remember it. Ah, you guys are so sweet. Okay, you ready? I'm Greek, right? This is Alpha. If you turn Othala this way, it is Alpha, which is the beginning, right? A in Greek is Alpha and Z is Omega, right? The beginning and the end. So I always think of this as your roots. Where did you begin is Othala. Does that help you remember it? Yeah, Katie, I remember, actually, I do. And so hopefully my little description tonight will even kind of bring this home more for you, because I think even though the last rune, you know, the day gods is so much a beginning, it's a new day, it's dawn, it's all that Eastern medicine wheel energy. This one for me that's about a new dawn of time for you, a new beginning for you. This is about your beginning, your ancestors, your ancestral wisdom. What do you inherit? And not just the physical things that you inherit, whether it's a house or, you know, money or whatever. I'm talking about the more important things that you inherit, like wisdom and knowledge of traditions and insight and information. Yeah, it definitely looks like a fish. And in fact, growing up, when I used to write the Greek alphabet, I always, whenever I drew alpha, because this is what a lowercase alpha looks like, I would put a little tail on it and pretend like it was a fish and put an eye. So as little kids learning Greek, you actually do think you're making a little fish when you make the alpha sign. Okay, the essential oil notes for Othala: rosemary, which is about remembrance, honoring the memory of the ancestors and ancestral connection. Pine, which is clarifying, cleansing, and nurturing, obviously. And then you have your option, cedarwood. It would be good for anchoring that ancestral wisdom in the body. And then patchouli is a good essential oil for integration of wisdom. And so that could be another really good alternative for this one. Oh, I'm glad that my little tricks about how to remember I don't have tricks for all of them, but I think, you know, if you can remember this, the double D's are Degas, right, for new day, that this is Othala, but it's actually about your roots, right, the alpha, where you began. If you can remember that Ingwas is the path that your soul needs to progress. If you can remember that Laguz is like an L, but it's also Lady of the Lake emerging from the water. If you can remember that Manos is the one that I used to draw as a kid, and I didn't realize it was the most important spiritual evolution rune of them all. If you can remember Awaz, which is marriage, I often think this looks like the, you know, like the structures in which people get married. There's always been like either a huppah or some sort of structure where people get married, holding, it almost reminds me of the Four of Cups card in the tarot, right? Where it's like the foundation, setting the foundation. And so this is the marriage and partnership card. This is the B for Berkana, which is also the birch tree, the first one to bloom in the spring. So it's the sign of feminine fertility and creation. And then this is Tiwaz, which is a phallic, masculine, get it, direct. Here's the arrow. Here's the path. Here's the way to go. So those are all the ones for tonight. Okay. With Othala, if you're working in the light aspects of it, it's prosperity. Right? Because it's ancestral inheritance, prosperity of wisdom, as well as prosperity of material resources. With Othala, if you're working in the shadow of it, it can be greed, wanting more from your ancestors, more inheritance, more money. You like my little get it? So those are the light and shadow of Othala with your essential oil notes. Okay. Keep in mind that you have lots of written content on the website to enjoy as well. I'm going to pull runes for about the next 10 minutes or so. And then guess what? You know that I love surprising you. It's like one of the biggest joys of my life. This is tonight's giveaway. Actually, it's tomorrow's giveaway because I'm going to do it in the group so that everybody, even if they couldn't see the session tonight, gets to participate. I am gifting the entire leather deck of the Elder Futhark that I have been collecting all the way since February. When we sell these, which it will be a while because they're very hard to make. This is going to be, I think, the retail value of these. Keep in mind, they're all leather. Will be in the $120 to $130 range. And so we don't have them yet. It will take us months. So whoever gets this as part of the giveaway, you're getting something really awesome. And you're also getting something that won't be available for a lot longer. I know. Yeah, if you're vegan, you may not love these, but I'll tell you something. It was a very intentional choice on my part to do it on leather, because let me tell you, our Viking ancestors were not vegan. I have massive respect for vegans. Believe me, I truly do. These had to be done on leather. It just had to be. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to start pulling. Who would like me to pull a rune for you? Okay, now I'm going to start pulling. Who have I got? Hi, Anne-Marie. For Anne-Marie, I have Ansu's. This is going to be a fun review for you guys. This is divination. And it's an important one. You know, this is about being able to see and trust your intuition. Know that the wisdom that's coming to you is designed for you and that you're ready to integrate that wisdom now. Okay, Erica Mind, I'm going to pull a rune for you. This is Jera. So Erica, there's a harvest ahead for you. And that harvest can be spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical, but there is a harvest and you should be excited. That is a door opening for you. Hi, Simone. I'm going to pull a rune for Simone Freites. Jera again. Simone has a harvest too. This is one of my favorites. This is a good news rune. There's something ahead for you. You really love to see this one in concert with Fehu, which is the card of financial prosperity, which means it's a harvest of money, but it can be a harvest of a lot of different things. It could be a harvest of health, it could be a harvest of happiness, and any harvest is a good harvest. Oh, thank you for that feedback on Gebel perfume. I'm really glad you liked that. All right, Michelle Reed, how's it going, lady? I'm going to pull a rune for you. Just asking your guides to lead me. Hagalaz, change. Something in your life is about to change, but you are ready for it. You have been prepared. This is about bravely moving through change, knowing that whatever is about to change in your life is changing for your highest good. So I love that. Hey, Kayla Calburn, I'm going to pull a rune for you. It's really, really sweet for you guys to be here with me right now. I've been looking forward to seeing you guys for a week and a half. Lagus, we just learned about this one, right? This is the rune of the depths. It's about exploring your deepest feelings without fear and trusting that all those feelings are safe for you to feel. Hi, Natalie Weatherly. I'm going to pull a rune for you. Hagalaz, impending change. Change is coming. And you know what, part of the reason I'm pulling these runes for you guys is to give you a rune. The other part of it is I want you to listen and learn, because every time I show it to you, it's going to remind you, and then you're going to get better and better and better at recognizing it. So, hey, Lisa MT Woods. It's her first time, and she's new, and she liked it. So, Lisa, I'm going to pull a rune for you. I'm really happy that you're here. I almost want to quiz you. This is Iwaz. This is strength. And this is about understanding that you are already as strong as you need to be to get through whatever challenges lay ahead of you right now. And the mantra is, I live in harmony with the cycles of change as I face my fears with strength and faith. So that's for you, Lisa. Yeah, it's great. Joni's saying she likes this because she gets to hear how they're pronounced too, which is really good. Hey, Sabrina Morgan, I'm going to pull a rune for you. It's my special rune. So Sabrina Morgan, there's some spiritual evolution ahead for you, connected to your ability to rise above the cares and concerns of the world. And so the mantra is, I honor the bonds of humanity that transcend time and space, so I may move with the hope that ignites our collective power. I love that one. Hey, Cynthia Dietz, I'm going to pull a rune for you. Cynthia. And you know what's really cool is my cards are getting really soft because these are natural leather and they're going to soften over time, so they get kind of buttery in your hand, which is really sweet. This is Uruz, again, the rune of strength. So whatever is ahead of you, you are strong enough to face it. The mantra is, my home and my health are strong, as is my heart. Isn't that a beautiful one? Okay, Nicole G, I got you. Let me pull a rune. If I'm going to go for another 4 minutes or so. If I run out of time, I will continue pulling in the Holistic Healer group tomorrow. So never fear. And I'm going to do the Facebook or the giveaway there too of the deck. So do not worry. I will pull for you. Who was I just pulling for? Can you remind me? I started to talk to you about running out of time and then I lost track. Did I do Cynthia already? I did, right? Just remind me. Who was I doing? Nicole, that's right. Thank you, Brittany. Brittany's all over it. Nicole and Cynthia. Did I do Cynthia already? I think I did Cynthia. Nicole. All right, Nicole G. Remember this one? This is Isa, ice. This is standing still. This is an inner stillness for Nicole, meaning that this might not be a time of major progress or movement or action on your part, but that's because this is a time of retreat and going within, reflecting, and finding the stillness to calm, balance, center, and align you. And so this is a really good one. All right. Hi, Shannon Russell. And then Marielle is at work tomorrow. So let me try Shannon Russell. Although, you know, I'm going to leave the post up all day and I'll probably come back to it over a couple of days. So do not worry. Shannon, this one's for you. Awaz, the rune of partnership. Remember, marriage and finding out how to be in proper partnership with another. This one, the mantra is, I will bravely embrace and love all parts of myself, mind, body, and spirit, so I may find my other as a reflection of my highest self. I love that card too, that rune. Darby Lording. Did I pronounce it right? Hi, Darby. I'm going to pull a rune for you. I love your name, by the way. I think Darby's super cute. Love, love, love that. Okay. You're on the path, Darby. This is Ingwaz, the rune of peace. This is the path to peace. May your spirit guides, Darby, illuminate the path for you and show you exactly the steps that you need to take to find perfect peace in your life. I love this so much. It is like having flashcards, isn't it? Janet, you're a cutie. I agree with you. I think it's kind of fun that way. Wait till you see how they get buttery in your hands. It's like, you know, I imagine us like playing with these when we're 80 years old, sitting somewhere pulling runes out of our leather deck. It's all soft and buttery from being loved. Okay, Julie Fellick. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm going to pull a rune for you, Julie. I pulled Jera. You guys are harvesting like all over the place. Hashtag harvesting. I like it. This isn't really the season of harvest, but maybe you guys are working some magic that I'm not familiar with. So again, this is about, the mantra is, I live in complete harmony with the cycles of nature, and I give thanks for the beauty of the harvest at hand. So I love that so much. Yeah, well, you know, the nice thing is you guys do have notice, right? And you'll get, if you're in Holistic Healer, you get 15% off. So you'll get a good discount on your deck. One of the things, if you're an affiliate, you might think about teaching about runes. And I can even put some fun content in your vault about the runes, because your folks that you work with might really love learning about the runes. And then when the decks come, they may be really excited about being able to get them too. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more. Are you ready? I'm going to do, you're very welcome, Haven. I appreciate your gratitude. Okay, so Christine LeBrain. Christine, I'm going to pull a rune for you. She got the phallic magic. This is Tiwaz, the personal rune of Tyr, the Norse god. And this is all about the path. This is all about clarity. It's the rune of justice, but it's also the rune of direct clarity and direction in your life. I trust in myself and focus my energy toward my inner path of righteousness with fairness, so I may honor my highest truth. That's a good one. Okay, last one for tonight is Teresa Price. Hey, Teresa. Teresa. Finally, we get a little bit of a switch up here. My cards are shedding on me. So Willow, This is willpower. This is your belief that you can make it happen. The mantra is, I focus my energy towards success with positivity and radiance. With hope, my willpower is renewed as I embrace my inner power for my highest good. This is a good one. So Willow is like the lightning bolt. That's how I always think of it. And it's like, this is, I can do it. So Willow says, I am capable, I am possible, and I am powerful. And that lightning bolt is just like, boom. That's another one that you could, when you're feeling like not as powerful, you can always draw a willow and just use that. And, you know, that's another one that'd be good to tattoo or anywhere you want to work with it. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this tonight. Okay, so tomorrow in your group, there are going to be two things. One is going to be a picture of these with you to comment, and I will give these away. And then the other is a post where I will pull additional runes for you from the deck tomorrow. So stand by. If I didn't get to you tonight, I will get to you then. So everybody will have a rune. And I want you to think about it this way. Are you ready? Here's like a fun way to take the rune thing tonight and maybe morph it into your word of the year. So when I pull a rune for you, either tonight or tomorrow, you're then going to have your rune, at least a rune for you to work with. What I would love for you to do is research into it and find a word, because it might actually have a word or a meaning that leads you to your other word of the year. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, let's say Tiwaz, right, was the rune. So maybe your word is honor or leadership or clarity or direction, right? So you can let your word of the year sort of fall out of the rune that I choose for you if you want. That's one way about doing that. So casting runes, let me just say a couple quick things about that. There are 100 different ways to do it. Typically what you do, here's like stone runes, right? These are our peach moonstone runes. Typically what you do is you store your runes in a velvet bag or a pouch of some kind. And when you cast them, you throw them, okay? They also call it throwing runes. Historically, they would throw them all at the same time. And then they would read them in order that they fell. And they would not read runes that were turned over. That was sort of historically accurate. What a lot of people do now is almost read runes like tarot cards, where you do a draw, like a 3-card draw where it's past, present, future, or what you know, what you don't know, and what action you need to take. And so you can actually decide what order you want to lay your runes down in, and then what each of those spaces will represent. We are coming up with some really beautiful rune casting mats for you that I think you're going to really love. So if you want something like sort of a mat to lay them out and throw them on, one of the things that we are creating for you is actually a circle of all the runes, because what they used to do was draw all the runes on the ground in a circle, like our ring, and then cast in that. And they would actually read the runes as they fell in relationship to the runes in the circle. So let's say you cast your runes and you got Tiwaz and it landed next to Tiwaz in the outer circle. That would reinforce the meaning of that rune for you. Or let's say you cast your runes and Tiwaz landed on a contrary rune. So that would counter the meaning or cause you to read it as a reverse. So it would either reinforce or reverse. Does that make sense? So we're going to make those mats for you just so that you have sort of a historically accurate tool for casting your runes. And whether you want to throw them all, which is a long reading, right? You can end up reading 20 runes, depending on how many don't flip over and show themselves directly. That can be a really long reading. But if you're working with clients and you have an hour with them, sometimes you want to throw all the runes, or sometimes you want to cast, a couple of different ways: a past, present, future, a what's hidden from me, what's known to me, and what do I need to do about it. So you can choose whether you want to pull a few, cast them all, read them chronologically, whether you want to read the reversed ones as backward or not. Like I said, that's kind of up to you. So anyway, those are my quick thoughts on casting or throwing runes. And, we did the cards, which is sort of non-traditional. Traditionally, what you have is either the rune carved in stone or carved on wood. And we did the wood pieces for you in your Month of Magic kits in addition to the card, just because some people want the more traditional thing. I just love the cards, and so that's my kind of go-to method. But it's kind of fun. Like, you should experiment. Do you know what I mean? And see what methods resonate with you and what you enjoy more, because ultimately, whatever way you enjoy working with the runes is the way that you should work with them. when you enjoy it, it's going to be clear to the people that you're working with. Yeah, and you can just pull one out of the bag. That's exactly right, Lauren. So you can pull 3 out of the bag. You can pull 1 out of the bag. You can do like a daily card reading for your, or rune reading for yourself. Just keep these all in your little velvet pouch, right? Like by your bed. I like to, when I'm pulling a rune for myself, I use my non-dominant hand because that's more apt to be accurate than my dominant hand. And so, and you just pull your rune, read your symbol, and that can be your rune for the day. And so that's another fun way to work with them. That's why we send them to you in our little velvet pouches when you buy our gemstone runes, so that you already have it stored in a way that would be traditional. Okay, you guys. Well, I hope you had fun tonight. I had so much fun with you. I do want to tell you, before I go, the Tucson Treasures listing is in the shop. I think you saw that. For the first time ever, we're letting you use store discounts. And so you can use code JOY to save 18%. Plus, we're still honoring the free gift all the way through the end of the day today. So whether you purchased a Tucson Treasure yesterday or today, even if you already purchased one today, you may not even know this, we're still giving a free gift all the way through midnight tonight. And so you don't have to have a code. It's just if you order a Tucson Treasure, in addition to saving 18%, you're going to get a free gift. If you don't know what that means, when I go to Tucson each year, I'm leaving on the 24th of January. I go and I shop and I use my wholesale account and I don't charge you extra. So basically you get to shop with my discount. We're just bringing back a lot of different things this year. So, and we never know what we're going to find. It's kind of exciting. So you're saving between my discount and your discount, you're 18% off. You're saving about 40 to 45% this year, which is pretty incredible. In some cases up to 50% plus the free gift. So just in case you were on the fence, I highly recommend it. My team was really sweet and put the link there in your feed. If there was ever a year to do the Tucson Treasure, this is it. I don't know that we're going to keep doing that at the shows because it's really complicated. We love doing it for you, but it's challenging. And so it's kind of a fun opportunity to let us shop for you while we're doing that through Sage Goddess. At least we're going to do it this year. Yeah, so no, we've extended the free gift all the way through. Anybody who ordered today, they might not even know that they're getting a free gift. So everybody who orders today through midnight, no code necessary, is getting a free gift in addition to the 18% off of Tucson Treasures. And yes, you can just jump in my suitcase. That would be really fun, wouldn't it? We're not able to orchestrate it this year, but we do talk about doing sort of a grand meetup in Tucson because I think that would be really fun. It's just logistically, it's challenging. We are in meetings between 6 and 8 hours a day. And so it's really hard to find the time because for us, this is sometimes the only time we see. It's the only time I see my Egyptian vendor. It's the only time I see some of my main Brazilian sources. It's the only time I see my Madagascar sources. And so it's like, and my South African sources only come once a year to this show. So it's a really challenging time for us, but it's also really fun. It's like a family reunion in a lot of ways. So we haven't chosen the free gifts. I'm buying the free gifts there. So I don't know what you're getting for your gift. I don't know what you're getting for your Tucson Treasure. All I know is I'm going to try to exceed your expectations. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, you guys. I know what I'm going to be doing. So catch this. I'm going to be doing all kinds of special lives just for Holistic Healer, including interviews with some of my sources. If they're willing to go on camera, I always do that. And so there's going to be interviews behind the scenes. We're going to have special products for affiliates and advisors that are not available on our website. So if people want to find those things from Tucson, they're going to have to get them through you. And so make sure you have signed up for the advisor program if you have not done that already, because Tucson is going to be the first time you guys really see how special that is. And when people find out that you've got stuff that nobody else has, they're going to be thrilled. So there's going to be some really special stuff coming just for you. And they have to have your code to get it, which is going to be pretty cool. I know. I can't wait to go too, although there's so much to do before we get there. So I'm taking a breath right now. Okay. So I will see you for sabbatical on Friday. I have a little preview of your beautiful self-love Sumerian ritual tools that are coming that morning. And so you'll see that in the group on the morning of Friday. I look forward to seeing you in class on Friday evening. So much love from my heart to yours. May the magic of the runes continue to dazzle you. May it continue to inspire you. And Odin, we give thanks tonight to the All-Father for the wisdom that these tools have have brought to us over the years, and the magic that they have revealed to us even before we knew what we were working with. So may the magic of these tools be present for you always. May it bless you in many ways, and may it bless those that you decide to share it with. So it is. All right, you guys. Good night. Good night. Good night. I'll see you soon.